Hello and welcome back to my channel. This video is all about drawing banners, and you can use these in your bullet journal and different illustrations. You'll need a pencil for sketching and then some ink pens. I have my Micron and a brush pen. We'll start with the basics and then move on to some more of the fancy banners and how to make them. So I'm just quickly putting in the header and then we'll start with each of the styles. So on the left, I'm making a column that will have each of the individual banner designs. And then on the right, I'll show you variations of how to do each of them. So the very first banner is a very basic rectangle shape. It's really that simple. You can build on that then and create little flags and flaps. This one is a simple triangle piece on the top and the bottom. And then if you like, you can add in some shading to show that it's behind, so there's a little shadow. So the third one is that rectangular shape, but the sides are a little different. I brought in those angle pieces so that they come into the triangle. And then with the fourth one, the flags are behind and they're pointed outwards. Alright, so for this version, I'm pulling down those flags so they're a little bit below the main rectangle. You'll put in the little angles on the sides, and then to connect the bottom piece, there's one line that'll be straight and one line that will be an angle, and that will show the underneath part of that flag. And this is how you would make the flaps go above that main rectangle. And I'll show a close-up here. So similar to what we just did in the bottom flap, this one, since it's going above the main rectangle, you will angle those little corner pieces to the top corners. And then of course you can add in some shadow lines and that'll push it to the background. Okay, so for this variation, we're doing a similar version except we're curving our banners. So they're going to be more ribbon-like. And you just want to remember that all your lines will then be curved on the same, somewhat similar angle. And then you would build in those triangular pieces underneath in the same way. Just one straight up touching and then one angled out. Okay, and then that same curved banner, but this time we're going to be curving it towards the bottom. And that means the flaps will go onto the top part. And this time, instead of doing an angled wedge flag, this time I'm just doing a simple curve, one line. So you can vary up the way that you do your little flaps as well. And then for that final version, I'll be doing more of a ribbon style. So it's a very curved line that I'm doing on the top and the bottom. It matches in a parallel. And then the part where you have that curl, a bit of a swirl, I'm just going to add in that little spiral to the top left and then the bottom right. And then to make that make sense, you'll just pull straight lines up to the main banner. Just straight ones that show the edge of that ribbon curling. And then you can add shadow lines. Alright, so these are the basic structures of the banners that I'm covering. And then for the fun part, we'll get fancy. We'll start adding some variations on these. Alright, so starting with variations on the first two designs, you can do simple versions where you add a wave, and so it's not a basic rectangle that's straight, it's curved. You can curl back one of the edges so it looks like it's turning on one side. You can curve up the banner, so or down, and you can add the little flaps in the back, so you're adding shadow lines. You can also double up the banners, so to do a stacked version, it starts with two rectangles, and just like we practiced on the left, you can make the little parallel lines for the flags that are behind, and then pull in the little angle pieces to the corners of each of those rectangles, and then for the middle, you'll add in a slanted piece that looks like it's going behind, and you can add in shadow lines to make it look like it's in the background. You can also do a version of the stacked banner where they're more spread out and spaced out. So the top one goes more to the left and then the bottom one goes more to the right. You do the same technique. And then you can try a triple, where you stack 3 banners on top of each other. And then you would create the back pieces in the same way. And then you can also try to vary up the ends so that instead of the flags and flaps that are angled, you can do that swirl ribbon style in between as well. And this is a triple stacked version. One of the really fun ways to do a banner is to do this really free, flowing, loopy style. So you can just start with a wavy line, and then wherever you see the curve of that ribbon piece, you'll pull down a straight line. That'll be the edge of that. And then you can create the bottom part of the banner. As long as it's parallel to that top one, it'll all make sense. And going along with that fancy loopy style, I like to do versions where the little ribbons are flying off both sides and they're multiple, so you can make as many as you like, just keep curving those little lines. And if you're practicing, try different dimensions. So this one's more of a short and stacked version. You can try a triple stack, you can try super skinny and long. Every time you do this, you'll learn more about the different perspectives and angles that you like and what you want to use in your work. Alright, so this one is going to be super tall, or taller, and then have a lot of little ribbons coming underneath. And then don't be afraid to erase and retry if you make a mistake. I used a little whiteout on that right side of the ribbon because I realized that my angle was a little off. But everything is an easy fix, and then I'm just adding in shadow lines. Alright, so this time I'm experimenting with putting that ribbon towards the center on the top and the bottom. And this is a fun variation on that same ribbon style. And this version has a big center piece and then flowing ribbon pieces off to the right angle. Once you get started drawing banners, it's hard to stop. It's kind of addicting. So just warning you now. This version is a really wide and flat ribbon piece where all of these angles and pieces are a little taller and they're going off the right and left side. You can try getting a little bit of a shape. This is a diamond shape, and then I'm putting a stacked banner version that gets narrower towards the 2 points. So just like we did the double and triple stacked, same technique, except it's just a few more banner pieces. And then for the final version here, I'm doing a little fold right in the middle of the banner, just to show that you can add in this fold wherever you like, even right in the center. Same technique, just add in the straight lines behind and shadow lines, and you have another variation. Alright, so that is a full 2-page spread of variations on banners in different styles. I'm going through with my brush pen and just adding a little bit of a shadow line to each of these just to make them pop out a little stronger. And then I realized I did forget to add a little back piece to one of these banners, so I'll fix that real quick. I hope you had so much fun creating your own banners, and if you post your work over on Instagram or anywhere, tag me at PaperWand so I don't miss it. Thanks for joining me. And if you like this, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.